Last month, the DJI Pocket 3 got a huge buff. So today, I want to go over the major updates that DJI has included with this new firmware update. So if you haven't updated the firmware of your Pocket 3 yet, then you're probably going to want to do that right now. But there's no need to worry because I'm going to be updating the firmware of my Pocket 3 as well. And I'm also going to be doing some tests and comparisons to see how well a couple of these features hold up. Alright, so first, starting off with the webcam update. You can now use the webcam feature on the Pocket 3 using the D-Log-M color profile, whereas before you could only use the Pocket 3 in webcam mode with the normal color profile. And this means that you can now import your LUTs to OBS to color grade your D-Log-M footage when you're using the Pocket 3 as a webcam. So this is a really nice feature, especially if you love the color grade and add LUTs and shoot in D-Log-M, so you have a flat profile so that you can get the best looking image out of your footage. There's also a new 40mm telephoto zoom feature, and this should be much higher quality than the 2x digital zoom. However, there are still a few limitations that you should keep in mind. First of all, with this new feature, you have to zoom in with the camera before you start recording. Unfortunately, you also can't use this 40mm telephoto zoom feature when you're shooting in D-Log-M or HLG, as you can only use this feature when you're shooting with the normal color profile. You also can't use this feature in low light mode, which is also a bummer, especially if you record in a lot of scenarios in low light and you want to get a more close-up shot of whatever you're filming. And also you can't use this feature when you're using dynamic framing with the Pocket 3. And basically what dynamic framing does is that it allows you to keep whatever subject you're filming in the same part of the frame, even while you're moving the camera. That way you don't have to worry about if your subject is out of frame or not, and you don't have to worry about reframing your shot. But an interesting thing that you can do with this new 40mm Med-Telephoto Mode is that you can combine it with the 2x digital zoom to get an even more close-up or zoomed in shot. So if you want to get a really close-up shot from far away, then I can see how this can be pretty useful. And finally, the last major upgrade with this new update is that the Pocket 3 now has a new breathing compensation feature. And in simple terms, what this feature does is that when it's enabled, it corrects changes in the field of view caused by shifts in focus distance during recording to optimize the visual experience. And finally, there's also been some minor updates to the DJI Mimo app, as well as some bug fixes with this new update. But the 3 upgrades that I mentioned before are the major upgrades with this new firmware update. Alright, so now that we've went over all the upgrades for this new firmware update for the Pocket 3, I'm now going to show you guys how to update the firmware of your Pocket 3 in case you don't know how. Alright, so all you have to do to update your Pocket 3 firmware is to first open the DJI Mimo app. Once you're in the app, you're going to want to make sure that your Pocket 3 is turned on so that you can connect it. And if you have a software update available, there will be a notification on the top of the screen, so click that. Then all you have to do is click the install button on the bottom and wait for your Pocket 3's firmware to update. Alright, so I did some comparisons testing the 40mm Med-Telephoto Mode to the 2x digital zoom, and I also did some testing comparing having the breathing compensation on versus having the breathing compensation set to off. Now when it comes to the Med-Telephoto Mode, I could definitely notice a difference from that compared to the 2x digital zoom. And even though they're supposed to both give you the same equivalent of like a 40mm full frame equivalent focal length, the Med-Telephoto Mode was definitely cleaner as there was less noise and less grain in the image, whereas the digital zoom just looked grainier and you could tell that there was more noise in the image, so the image did not look nearly as clean. And to be honest, if I really wanted a close-up shot, I would definitely go for the 40mm telephoto if I wanted that focal length, because it looks quite a bit better than the 2x digital zoom. Now when it comes to the breathing compensation, to be honest, I didn't really notice a difference between having it turned on versus just having this setting turned off, as I did some testing by using the remote for my Godox ES45 light. But yeah, I was just moving the remote closer to the camera and further away to test the breathing compensation in both modes, and like I said, I couldn't really tell a difference. I mean, whenever I moved the remote closer to the camera did zoom in both modes. I could tell that the camera did zoom in a little bit to you know, bring the remote into focus and to compensate for that. And I'm not gonna lie, I also lost track of which mode was which because I couldn't even tell the difference. And then when I came to upload the clips in post, since I couldn't tell a difference because they were so similar to each other, I didn't even know which one, you know, I recorded first. But anyways, if you could tell a difference between having the breathing compensation on or off from the two videos, like I said, I will have them as B-roll in post, so let me know which one you think looks better. But overall, I definitely do think that this is a solid software update. However, I do wish that I could use the 40mm telephoto mode on this camera when I'm shooting in D-Log-M, since whenever I shoot with the Pocket 3, I always love to record in D-Log-M so I could get the highest quality out of my footage and yeah, just get the best looking image by color grading it the way I want. And I also wish that I could use this 40mm mid-telephoto mode in low light mode when I'm recording in scenarios where I don't have a lot of light. That would definitely be useful when I want to get like some close-up B-roll shots in those sort of situations. Overall, I think that this is a good update and it's definitely a step forward in the right direction. Now personally, I haven't tried the webcam mode yet, but that's because I've never used this Pocket 3 here as a webcam. But maybe when I do start using this camera as a webcam in the future, maybe I will test it out in OBS and test out the new D-Log-M for the webcam mode, and maybe I'll add my own LUT to it. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like and also consider subscribing if you want to see more tech, filmmaking, and even lifestyle content from me in the future. And also, if you want to stay up to date with my content on other social media platforms, then make sure to follow me on Instagram, TikTok, X, and Snapchat, as I do post regularly on those platforms as well, just like I do on this YouTube channel. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.